Well, welcome to the video. We've got some inserts here. We're going to talk about ITBs. We're going to talk about Solestar. These are some Innersoles I've had for, I don't know how long it's been, maybe a year. Some Innersoles. So I wanted to give them a really good test run before I gave you my final conclusion. And they're a winner. They're not cheap, but they are an absolute winner. Innersoles is just, I put these, I'll get to the ITB tips in a minute, but just hear me out this one. I put these in a pair of Bont shoes that have had some really thrash Bont shoes, like super thrash Bont shoes. Actually, let me go and get those shoes to show you exactly what I'm about. We're talking these ones. We're talking these thrashed, like the upper, like the buckles busted, don't work properly every time I put some power down. It's slopping around, so a very thrash shoe. The midsole's still very stiff though. You know, cleats right back. So I put these Solestars in here. I like to get maximum longevity before something gets sent to landfill. As long as it's safe, I continue to use it until it's done, and these are pretty much done. So these are the shoes I'm using now. An S-Works shoe. I think Specialized sell a very good shoe. Fits a lot of people. Their latest road bike range. The S-Jerks ones I'm not a fan of, but the shoes. These S-Jerks shoes have been fantastic. I've got these second hand for 50 bucks Aussie off Facey Marketplace, and they're fantastic. The Boa dials were dead. Sent Boa an email, sent me out free replacements. You know, they're so fantastic. I've kept the spare parts for when these bung up. I'll be able to replace them. So I like that. The Boa stuff, replaceable, good warranty, and make sure you use it before it goes to landfill. Another thing is when you're getting shoes, the sunlight's in the way, is if you're going to get dials, make sure they go both ways. Some shoes, I don't know why brands would spec it. It's just a cost-saving thing. And I mean, the shoes cost probably $5-10 bucks to make. You can at least put double direction bows on it. So if you get Boa dials, which I recommend, have ones that go boom or boom, so you can tighten it and loosen it per click, right? Versus tighten it up, guys, it's too tight and you have to undo the whole shoe. And then it's just like, that is stupid, man. Why would you do that? So this is one of my favourite shoes ever. It's an S-Jerks two-way bow dial. It's fantastic. What I've done, I've sent these to Steve Hogg in Sydney, so Canberra. He's with Pushies. Steve Hogg's a legend. He's not only a cycling bicycle fit legend, expert, authority, he's also a good dude. He's one of the good humans out there, right? In a world of chaos, Steve Hogg is one of the legit guys out there, and I've known Steve since 2004, right? So before I had any fame, people could clout off or whatever. Steve Hogg, legit human, good guy, got time for him. Anyway, so I sent these shoes to Steve, he's drilled them out, put midfoot cleat, which I just prefer, it just feels better. As a runner, the midfoot cleat just feels better. It works more your glutes and your hamstrings and your quads. Your seat goes lower, you're more aero, it's just common sense. You do have toe overlap, but hey, if you're ridden a few miles, you get used to that. So midfoot cleat, do I rate it? Yes. Does everyone need to go midfoot cleat, like they need to go vegan or high carb? No. It's personal preference, I just prefer it. It is a bit of faffing around getting the shoes to do it, and not everyone has Steve Hogg access. So, but again, you could probably, you could drill that in yourself, and I'm just not that savvy with stuff like that. But these feel fantastic. So anyway, getting back to Solestar, these are fantastic. They just feel, you just feel the perceived effort goes down a little bit. Your foot just feels more stable, you know, it just feels better. Does it give more performance? Who knows, it just feels better. These are the stock insoles that Specialized sell. These are pretty good actually, you know, these feel alright, they felt pretty comfortable. But then I put these bad boys in, the Solestar, and it just feels even better. Yeah, it just feels even better. And I'm a person, I like lightweight road bikes, I like smooth bottom brackets, I like properly tuned gears. I like things that just feel good, you know, it just feels good. And I'm pretty OCD about that stuff. I mean, I can ride stuff that's not tuned or properly or whatever and get it done. But if I have a preference, have the option, I like stuff that feels good. So let's talk about ITB. I had my first ITB. ITB is that muscle. It's like you got from your glute, it goes around into your calves here, and you get generally a little knee pain here. It's just tight glutes typically, tight glute, tight quad. They're the main triggers I've found. and I remember doing a cortisone shot back in 1998, and that was a bad idea. Don't use cortisone injections, unless you're doping or something like that. But they're bad for your health. Cortisone is not a good thing to be using. In an extreme pain situation, yeah, you could use it as a pain management. Even then, it's a credit card option. Stay away from cortisone whenever possible. It is a dangerous drug. It is performance enhancing, no doubt. It's very, very common, but does have a lot of side effects with it. So be warned. Don't just think I can just do cortisone and just be alright, but it does have its side effects. So what I've learned from having ITB issues back in '98 was to have my cleats set up in a way so when I pedal, my heels aren't out. Let's say this is a crank arm. They're almost touching the crank arm, almost buffing the crank arm. And I generally put some helicopter tape on my crank arms to prevent them getting buffed off. So you want to have your heels in. So you've got to angle your cleat so your heels are in. And that's just, so when you're pedaling, your heels are in. And that's going to take a lot of stress off your ITB, all right? So if you look at the cleat angle, you'll find that it points towards, that's probably reverse on this camera maybe, but the tip of the cleat points towards the big toe. Right? So make sure your cleat is pointing towards your big toe, and then that will make your heel go in. Okay. Another way to test it is if you're standing up, just sort of like look straight ahead, stand and lift your feet, walk on the spot for a few minutes or a few seconds, and then look down and see where your feet go. Oh, my heels are in. So that's how you should have your heels in on your bicycle. All right, heels in, heels in, heels in. Crank arms here, heels in. You'll see a lot of people riding their heels out, and they're pedaling like that, like a little duck leg. And if you're missing some ligaments or something, then that's just how it is. But generally what's happened is the person's cleat has slipped, and no one's called them up on it. Their coach hasn't said anything, their bike fit person hasn't said anything, their bike fit expert hasn't said anything. So they just pedal like that. And they got these ITB issues, and they're on cortisone and painkillers, and all we have to do is just go, whoosh, put the cleat in, next to your crank arm, good to go, good to go. They were going to do knee surgery on me, man. They're going to do knee surgery on me. Literally, I was booked in for an arthroscopy with this surgeon, this wanky, rich dude, and I said to him, hang on, I don't even know where I got the wisdom from. This is back in '98 when I was a young whippersnapper. I was like 20, how old was I in '98? 21 maybe, Natasha's age. And I said to him, hang on, what would you do if you're in my situation? This is what he's booking me in for because what day works good for you for surgery? And I'm like, hey, surgery? Like, I've just got a sore knee. Like, he's going, we're going to do a keyhole surgery and sort of see what's going on. If I didn't speak up, I'd have my knee chopped open. Right? So I said to him, hey, what would you do if you were in my situation? He's like, I'll probably go downstairs and see the physio. She's pretty experienced with cyclists. I'm like, I'll go and do that. And I never paid that. That fee for that appointment. They wanted like $300 or something. Dude did nothing. $300. I didn't pay. I walked out and said something like, I can't remember what I said. I said, I'm not paying for that. Just walked out. They sent me a few letters and I just never returned back to them. But anyway, I went to the physio downstairs and she says, you're tight as. She says, what about your cleats? How are your cleats on your bike? I said, I don't know. She's like, well, you probably, your cleats are probably shifted and stuff like that. So I was like, wow, this physio, she's earning the money. And so I paid her because it was great advice. So anyway, that started me on a whole, awareness thing about ITB. So then I have friends with knee pain. I'm like, let's look at your cleats. And sure enough, the crank's here, the heel's out here. They're pedaling along. What's happened is they're clipped in and out, and the cleat bolts have gotten loose, and the cleats rotated, and now they're pedaling with their heel out, getting all this pain. So if you know anyone who has knee pain, it's probably most likely ITB, and it's going to be most likely because their heels have slipped out. This is a game changer, and it's so simple. And people out there be like, oh, Harley, but you're not a doctor, you're not a surgeon, you're not a physio. Well, I've helped cure my friend's ITB pain, knee pain, they were also going to get booked in for surgery or whatever. Like, that's just common sense. Now, people out there might be the few blue pill out there, but they wouldn't have lasted 8 minutes into this video. This is red pill corona here. People who can critically think. So yeah, that's the reality there. So in terms of Innersoles, fantastic. I rate them. Solestar, do you need them? Are they a game changer? For me, they're not a game changer, but they are definitely a product experience enhancer. Are they as important as carbohydrate? No. But I'd say a lot of pro riders will be using these because they just extra little watts, extra little bit of reduced perceived effort. They're going to be make a difference there. but they're not as important as a power meter and carbohydrate and stuff like that. But if you had money to spend, you know, didn't have kids, got whatever that cost, these things cost these days, then I would definitely recommend getting a pair. Go check out their website, read the hype. I rate a Solestar. What else can we talk about? ITB. So yeah, check your cleat angle. It's a huge one. That's a main cause. Another cause is doing too many Ks too soon, especially on a loaded bike, you know, bike packing or whatever. You know, and that's a huge one. Your body's, you know, not used to how your bike handles, so it's good to do mini tours so your body can handle it. Even if you can't do a mini tour because you're at work every day, ride your bike to work with all the luggage on it, so your body, all your muscles and fascia and tendons can adapt to it. That's a huge one. Spinning, make sure your gear ratios are easy enough that you can spin to win. At least you want 80 cadence, at least 80 up a climb. If you can't spin 80, you've got to put better quality gear ratios on your bike, okay? Otherwise, what are you trying to do? You're trying to give your tendonitis, you know what I mean? Like, what's the point of that? I did a ride recently where my front shifting wasn't shifting properly, and rather than just tune it myself and get it done and clean the cable, I was like, I should be right, this is good enough, I'll just grind up the hill because I'm fit enough where it's going easy. But eventually I got a bit of tendonitis in my knee, and it took me a while to get over that. That was just me being silly by grinding up the hill. You know, it was, the watts is maybe only 300 watts, you know, nothing for me. It added up over time, and my knee was just like, hang on, this is a new bike, this is like a new distance we haven't done for ages, what are you doing? And I'm like, hey, just shut up, knee, keep going. But it eventually said, okay, here's some tendonitis. So again, that wasn't a real issue. It didn't affect my trip quality that much at all. But if I was like a serious athlete in training, then that could have been a season ender for sure. It could have been a big game changer. So anyway, that's the deal here. Got some little bit of rocks caught in there, like picking those out, a bit of OCD. So that's the review of the Solestar, and that is some ITB tips. It'll be game changers for people out there. They were game changers for me. These tips cost me hundreds of dollars and pain to work out that actually worked, and you just got them for absolutely free. You got them for 11 minutes of your time, and that's what we're about here. We're about paying it forward and helping people. I don't want to see people suffer the same way I suffered. If I can make a little video, say, hey, yeah, do this, heel in, good to go. All right, simple as that. Get a whiteout pen, mark your seat height, mark your seat angle, mark your bars, mark everything. Mark where your cleat is in case it slips around. Like, do it. And people are, oh, I did a bike fit, and I spent, you know, $500 in, and they didn't mark it. You know, we wrote down measurements, and I'm like, well, how would you tell if your seat slipped? Because when you pull a ruler out and measure your seat height, it depends on which angle you're holding it and where your head is. You might be a few mils out or whatever. But if you get a little whiteout pen or a little scratch and just, then you got that done forever. Okay, just common sense. The amount of people I've seen. I remember seeing one guy, to wrap up the stories, a guy bought a brand new S-Works Venge McLaren, not a cheap bike, made in China, big markup, nice looking bike, and he's doing a retool fit or whatever it was at the time, and then he puts I'm talking to him in the car park, he puts the bike and takes the seat out, and I'm like, whoa, we're like, how are you going to put the seat? That just triggered my OCD. This guy's taking the seat out of his bike and not marking where it was, and I'm like, oh, how are you going to know? You know, and this is me in the car park, OCD, autism, durianrider. I'm like, how are you going to know where your seat should be? He's like, the boys just fitted me up just inside then, you know, it's all good. And I'm like, yeah, that's great, but when you get home, oh, mate. And he sort of looks at me like, who are you, mate? You look like a bum. You know what I mean? I'm giving him this red pill truth. And he's getting all like, and I'm just like, I'm just cracking. And I'm just like, all right, cool, man, have a good day. You know? Have a good day. And that's the reality we live out there. It's, I don't know, man. Some people, it makes me very curious how some people work out there. Anyway, mark your seat height, and you know, mark your seat height, gang. Don't trigger me anymore. Right? Don't trigger me in the car park with your S-Jerks McLaren. Anyway, that's the video. Simple tips, man. Simple tips. Okay, mark your stuff. Heels in. Cadence for the win. Spin to win. Massage your glutes. Stretch your glutes. Massage your quad. Focus on your posture. Enjoy yourself out there.